Okay, so we're going to start today's demo session. And just to brief you about myself, I've been into SAP for 13 years now. I started my career as an ABAPer, and then I moved on to BW ABAP. From 2008 onwards, I was working as business objects and BODS consultant. And from 2011, I started with my HANA career. So this is a brief introduction about me. So the session will be for almost for 2 hours. So for the first 1.5 hours, I'll take the session, and for the other 30 minutes, we'll have a question and answer session. Thank you. So I'll start the demo now. So first of all, what is SAP HANA? HANA stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance. So here, what is high performance? Let me take a simple example to demonstrate what is high performance. Let us take a very simple table that consists of 4 columns. It's a very simple table consisting of 4 columns. Let's take this column as customer, product, amount, and quantity. The volume of data that we have in this table is more than 2 trillion records. The volume of data that we have in this table is more than 2 trillion records. Now, I'm trying to ask a very simple questions on this table. Like for example, who are my top 5 customers? What are my top 5 selling products? So for a simple table, there are 2 trillion records. I'm asking a very simple question. Who are my top 5 customers? To answer this question, it takes more than 8 hours. Such a simple question, it takes more than 8 hours. When this table, data, and the question that we are asking is on the MS SQL DB. Now when the same question, same table, same data is on HANA, it takes less than 6 seconds. It takes less than 6 seconds, and here it takes more than 8 hours. Now, what is the reason behind HANA taking only 6 seconds and the other RDBMS solutions taking more than 8 hours? What is the reason behind it? Let us try to understand. So, fundamentally there are 3 reasons. First one is HANA. HANA is a in-memory DB. A second one, it's a column-oriented DB. Third one, it does massively parallel processing of data. Now, let us try to understand each of them. why they contribute to extremely high performance of HANA. Now, let us start with what is in-memory DB. Now, we all know in a computer there are three main parts. The first important one is a CPU, then RAM, and then disk. Now, what is in-memory DB? So, what is DB? A database. A database is a collection of database objects. For example, like tables. So, collection of tables in memory. So, if you see, when we store data in MS SQL, so MS SQL is a database that is designed to store data on disk. So it's designed to store data on disk. But HANA is designed to store data in memory. That's why it's known as in-memory DB. So all the objects of HANA are directly stored in memory rather than storing on disk. Now the question here is, why did SAP think that they traditionally operate on disk? Now they want to separate the content from the container, which is made up of an iron plate. So disk is basically an iron plate. So traditionally we store data over here. Now SAP tried to separate the content from a container called disk and put the same content into a different container, which is made up of transistors and capacitors. So from here we put the data over here. So why did SAP think about this and design a database that is operating in memory? There are primarily two reasons for it. The first reason is, now when I ask a question, the question goes to the CPU and goes to the memory, and then it goes to the disk. It gets the answer from disk, that is nothing but the relevant data, gets back to the memory and to the CPU and to the front end. Now let's say we have data on memory. So you ask a question, CPU, memory, back to CPU and to the front end. Now, is it better to drink water from a kitchen, take a flight, go to a different place, drink and come back? Always, the nearer we are, the faster we can access. So, when you have data in memory, it is closer to the CPU. It's closer to the CPU, that's why we can access faster to the front end. So that is one reason. And the second reason is, RAM is, by nature, it is 100,000 times faster than disk. So what are the two reasons why SAP thought to keep data in memory? First reason, data is kept close to the CPU. The closer the data is, the faster we get to the front end. The second reason is, RAM is 100,000 times faster in processing data. That's why in-memory DBs have extremely high performance. So let us see the second one. What is a column-oriented DB? And why column-oriented databases have extremely high performance? Let us see this. So why in-memory databases have extremely high performance? Data kept close to CPU. RAM is 100,000 times faster to access data. Now let's see what is column-oriented DB. Now traditionally SAP stores data in row-oriented fashion. So I'll just copy this table. So we have two tables over here. One table I'm storing it in row, and the other table I'm storing it in column. So usually we store data in row, and now we store data in columnar fashion. Now what is the difference between storing data in row and storing data in column? And how columnar databases have extremely high performance than row-oriented DBs? What is the reason behind it? I'll give a simple example. Let's say I insert a single record into a table. C01, customer, M01 is product, amount is 100, and quantity is 10. So what I've done, I insert a single row for 4 columns. So when I insert a single row into a table, so this is how system maintains in the backend. So the entries of the table are written in a file. In the backend, if you see, the data is written in the form of files. So I'll copy this record and paste in the file. Okay, so here we have one record in a file. Now let's say I'm going to insert one more record, C02, M02, 220. So in here I insert the second record. So again I'll copy this record. Now if I ask a question on this table, who is the top customer based on amount? Who is the top customer based on amount? So what system has to do? In order to get back the answer, it will start to search from here. So first it starts its journey from C01, M01, 100, C02, M02, 200, 20, and it gives back the answer saying that C02 is the top customer because the amount is 200. But in order to get this answer, C02 as top customer, it has to scan the entire table. So it has to scan the entire table. So if you see in this case, the tables are very small, only 4 columns, 2 records. Think about SAP systems where a simple table like customer master, which is KNA1 table, has more than 100 columns. Tables like MARA, material master, has more than 100 columns. Table like BSEG, which is financial table, it is more than 300 columns. Especially in SAP, the tables are very, very large. And the questions that we ask on these tables are very, very small. So when you frame a question, how many columns can we request from a table? Probably 10, 15 or 20 at max. So for a 400 column table, you're only requesting 20 columns in the output. But in order to get the answer, system has to scan the entire 400 columns to get only this 20 columns data to the output. So that is where it degrades the performance. It has to scan the entire 400 columns to get the answer from 20 columns. So that is the reason what SAP has done is they started to store data in a columnar fashion. So is my voice echoing? Is my voice echo? Just wanted to know. It's fine, okay. Because one of the students just messaged that the voice is echo. Okay, so let's continue. Sorry for that. Okay, so what I was trying to discuss here is, in a row-oriented fashion, we ask very simple questions or questions that can be more than 10 or 20 columns. But tables having 400 columns, it has to scan the entire 400 columns to get back the answer from 20 columns. And how did SAP overcome this in a column-oriented DB? Let us try to see this. So what SAP has done is, in a column-oriented DB, they started to store each column in a separate file. For example, how many columns we have? We have 4 columns. So they started to create 4 files. File 1, file 2. So in row-oriented table, how many files are created? Only one file. In one file, the entire data is stored. But in column-oriented fashion, for each column we have a separate file. So here you have 4 files. So the first file is the customer column. The second file is the product column. The third file is amount. And fourth is quantity. So now, if you have the same data in a column-oriented table, let's take the same data in the column-oriented table. So what is customer's data? It is C01, C02. Product is M01, M02. Amount is 100, 200. Quantity is 10 and 20. Now like that, it may be 4 columns or 400 columns. But for each column, there is a separate file. Now, I'll ask the same question. Who is my top customer? Now what system will do here is, so based on the question, it goes to only those columns. Okay, it goes to the customer column, it skips product, and then it goes to amount, it skips quantity. So it's going to skip this column because the question that I'm asking, there is no product column. Because my question is only who is the top customer. So it goes and scans only the customer column and amount column. So in a column-oriented DBs, it does not have to scan the entire table to get the answer. It only pinpoints those columns that are requested in the question. So the difference is, in row, it has to scan the entire table. In column, it only goes to those columns that are requested in the question. So in this way, it takes shortcut to data. So when it takes shortcut to data, column-oriented DBs have extremely high performance when you compare with row-oriented tables. So when I started this demo, so participants who have joined late, just to quickly repeat, when I started this demo, we started to ask a very simple question. For a 2 trillion record table, we ask simple questions. It takes 8 hours in MS SQL to answer. In HANA, it takes 6 seconds. What is the reason behind it? 3 reasons: in-memory, column, and parallel processing. Why in-memory DBs have extremely high performance? Data kept close to CPU. RAM is 100,000 times faster to process data. The second one, why column-oriented DBs have extremely high performance? In row, it has to scan the entire columns. In column, it only goes to those relevant columns to get the answer. Let us go to the third one, which is massively parallel processing of data. So what is massively parallel processing? I'll take a simple example. Now, especially the difference between sequential processing and parallel processing. Let's say you have a building with 5 floors. You assigned a single person to paint the entire building. So what he does is he does sequential processing. So he comes and paints this floor and this floor and this floor and subsequently all the floors. So if each floor takes 1 day, then this person will paint in 5 days. Now, if you deploy 5 people doing the same work, so first what they will try to do is they will first split the work among themselves. So they will try to split, okay, we're going to assign work individually. So after splitting the work, they will try to process. And after they process the work, they will assemble. They'll try to assemble the work. They will assemble the work and give back to the user or the owner. So in the same way, especially in HANA, we use SQL script. So HANA doesn't support ABAP. It only supports SQL script. So what SQL script does is, when you have complex programs, these complex programs are broken down into multiple smaller subsets. And each subset of a program is assigned to different cores of a CPU. Now here, I would like to explain, excuse me. So here I would like to explain, especially in HANA, we have multi-core architecture CPUs. So it means that a CPU, which is central processing unit, has multiple cores. Now we frequently listen to this terminology, dual core, quad core. A quad core is nothing but a CPU which has 4 cores. Now what is a core? A core is also a CPU. But to differentiate between a CPU within and a CPU outside, so whatever the CPUs that are inside a CPU are called as cores. But still a core is also a CPU. A core is something which is inside a CPU. So each core can process 3.2 billion records per second per core. So this is the scan speed. This is the scan speed, 3.2 billion records per second per core. And the aggregation speed is 15 to 30 million aggregations per second per core. For example, if a table consists of 30 billion records, and if only one core is processing the entire 30 billion records, for example, So how much time it takes? It takes 10 seconds. Because 3 point, at an average 3.2 billion scans per second per core. So one core to process the entire 30 billion records take 10 seconds. Now if you have 10 cores processing the same data, it takes 1 second. So what does this mean is, the more the resources we deploy, the less time it takes to consume in parallel processing of data, where larger programs are broken down into smaller subsets, and each subset of a program is assigned to different cores of a CPU, and each CPU can process 3.2 billion scans and 15 to 30 million aggregations per second per core. So that's why, rather than processing sequentially, what ABAP does, so ABAP does sequential processing, where HANA SQL script is exactly opposite of ABAP. It does massively parallel processing of data. So what is massive parallel processing of data in HANA? So complex programs are broken down. Each part of the program is assigned to different cores of a CPU. Each CPU can process 30 billion scans and 15 to 30 million aggregations per second per core. So each CPU will be assigned to a different part of a program. They process, assemble, and give back to the user. So until now, we only see what HANA can do, or what is HANA and why HANA is high performance. Now we understood what is in-memory DB, storing data in memory, what is column, to access data faster rather than scanning all the columns. In parallel processing, where programs are broken down smaller subsets, and each subset is assigned to different core of a CPU. Now let us go to the next step. But what is our role in the HANA project? So what we are going to do as a SAP HANA consultant in a project. Let us see this. So as a SAP HANA consultant, so there are primarily three aspects. One is data modeling. One is known as data modeling. Until now we have seen only what HANA can do, but now we see what we can do with HANA. The second one is data reporting. And third one is data provisioning. So what is data modeling? And if a HANA consultant has to spend 100% of his time in a project, let's say he has to spend 100% of his time. So for data modeling, 60% of his time is allocated most of the time, and data reporting is another 20%, and data provisioning is other 20%. So let us take one scenario to demonstrate what is data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning. Especially when you're working on HANA projects. First we discuss about sidecar scenario. So what is sidecar? A sidecar is nothing but we have our existing ECC system. We have the existing ECC and MS SQL. So we have ECC, we have MS SQL or non-SAP system. So both ECC nothing but SAP system. This is an SAP system and this is a non-SAP system. These are known as source systems. Source system. So these are the source. So what is the target in our case? Let's say the customer is implementing SAP HANA. Customer is implementing HANA. HANA is in the target. So HANA is the target system and ECC and a non-SAP system are source systems. For example, we have a table like KNA1 or a customer table. We have a table called customer master table, which is in SAP, it is known as KNA1 table. We would like to migrate the data from existing systems to SAP HANA. So why should we move data that is on the ECC system to HANA? Why would we like to move a copy of data from ECC to HANA? The reason is ECC system, which is on MS SQL, it's a row oriented, it stores data on disk, it does sequential processing. So what is the opposite of row? Column. What is the opposite of disk? Memory. Opposite of sequential processing? Parallel processing. Now why do you want to move data from ECC system and keep the same data in SAP HANA? Because of these three reasons. So once you move data from your existing SAP systems or non-SAP systems to HANA, the tables become column-oriented tables, the data is in memory, and it starts to process in parallel processing. Now, whose responsibility is to transfer copy of data from ECC to HANA? Who is going to take this responsibility to transfer? Nothing but data provisioning. It's known as data provisioning. What is data provisioning? Moving of data from source to target systems. Why we have to move? Because the advantage that HANA has in terms of high performance delivery. So in the data provisioning area, we have 5 ways to data provision. We have 5 ways to provision data. The first one is known as SLT. SLT stands for SAP Landscape Transformation. So what is SLT? SAP Landscape Transformation. So what is the use of SLT? It is to move data in real time. It's used to move data in real time, either from SAP systems or from non-SAP systems. Now, what do we mean by real-time data transfer? I'll take a simple example. Let's say we create a new customer in KNA1 table. Immediately, within a fraction of a second, within milliseconds, the entry I'm going to insert over here, it's going to be available in HANA. If I delete an entry, it's going to get deleted in HANA. If I update an entry, update is going to reflect in HANA. So any kind of changes that we do on the ECC system, immediately in real time, within fraction of seconds, it's going to update in HANA. So why are we using SLT is because, first of all, in a sidecar scenario, we don't want to disrupt the existing solutions. We want to keep the existing solution as it is without disrupting the existing solution. we want to keep the existing solution as it is. Parallelly, we want to implement a new solution called HANA. So that's why we maintain the existing systems and parallelly implement a new solution called SAP HANA. So once we have the full solution ready to use and the customer is completely satisfied, then further he may go to main car scenario. Main car means business suite on HANA, ECC powered by HANA, CRM powered by HANA, SRM, SEM, PLM can be powered by SAP HANA, or business suite powered by HANA. So always in a sidecar, we have the existing solutions. We're not going to disrupt the existing solution. Implement new solution parallelly. So once we are satisfied and we are proved with different use cases or business cases, then we can go for main car scenario. So in a sidecar scenario, in order to replicate data from existing systems to HANA system, we use SLT. So SLT is a real-time replication tool, real-time data replication. Now, we have another application called BODS. BODS. BO stands for Business Objects, which is a company, and DS is Data Services, which is acquired by SAP in the year of 2007. So SAP acquired this company called Business Objects in the year of 2006 and 7. So during that acquisition, SAP has got this product called BODS. Now what is this BODS? BODS is an ETL tool. It's a ETL. What is ETL? Extract, transform, and load to target. The importance of BODS is data migration. You can migrate data from existing SAP applications or non-SAP to SAP HANA. Then SLT also does data migration and BODS also does data migration. But what is the difference between both of them? The difference is SLT is a real-time replication tool, but BODS is batch. So batch means schedule. Every day at 8 a.m., data from ECC has to be transferred to HANA. So this is batch processing. So SLT is real time and BODS is batch processing. We'll take a simple example. Especially for inventory management, when you want to know what is the stock on the shop floor at this particular point of time, what is my stock on the shop floor? In order to design this report, is it better to go for SLT or BODS? Because to get the stock availability, I need to have a real-time visibility on data. What is happening currently on the shop floor? Now, we'll take another question. So what is my salary this month? So we only get salaries probably at the end of the week or at the end of the month. So what is the use of processing payroll related data in real time? It is not necessary because data will only change either at the end of the week or at the end of the month. So for use cases where data is not changing so frequently, then we can go for BODS because it is optimized to process for batch, whereas SLT is optimized to process for real time. So it depends on business scenario. Whether you want to go for real time, go for SLT. whether you want to go for batch and rich in transformation. BODS is very, very good for transformation of data. You can transform, you can apply business rules, like you can use case, merge, data validation, you can do data quality. For example, if any special characteristic or junk data is maintained, we can cleanse the data and send to HANA. BODS can do that. So the key difference between both these data provisioning tools, SLT can replicate data in real time from SAP and non-SAP systems, whereas BODS is a batch processing tool. It replicates data in scheduled interval and it is rich in transformation of data. Third one, let us see the third application, which is DXC. DXC stands for Direct Extractor Connection. Direct Extractor Connection. So what is the use of DXC? So DXC is especially useful for when you have use cases, when you have a BW system in your landscape. When we have BW system in the landscape. Now what is this BW? BW is known as business warehouse. Okay. Now these systems, which are ECC systems or business suite systems, are optimized to write data. They're optimized to write data into these systems. That's why these systems are known as OLTP systems, online transaction processing systems. Now, on the other hand, we have systems that are optimized for reads. You can read data very effectively. So these systems are optimized for writing. So I'm going to take a copy of data from this system and put a same copy in another system called BW. So whatever I'm going to write, I'm going to transfer the entire copy into the BW and read data from here. Now why? Because we have a dedicated system where we can read data and we have a dedicated system where we can write data. Now like this, in SAP there are more than 225,000 customers. In 225,000 customers, more than 14,000 plus customers use BW. So 14,000 customers are using BW in 225,000 customers that SAP has. Now, for these 14,000 customers, DXC is relevant because when you move data from ECC to BW, whatever the data that is going to BW, what DXC can do is, DXC bypass this solution called BW and move the same data via DXC to HANA. So whatever the data that is moving to BW, I'm going to put the same data in HANA and read data from HANA. Why? Now, just we discuss, this system is an OLTP system, online transaction processing, and BW is an OLAP system, online analytical processing. It's a online analytical. So this is OLTP and BW is an OLAP, but HANA is a OLTAP. It means that HANA can process transactions as well as analytical processing very effectively. But traditionally, if you see, there are two systems to do transaction processing and analytical processing. But here HANA is only one system which can do OLTAP. So that is the reason we use DXC to transfer whatever the data that is moved to BW. We bypass this solution because previously the questions were asked here to get the answer here. Same data I'm going to move via DXC to HANA, keep the data over here, ask the question to get the answer. So we have only single system to do all the transactions as well as analytical processing. So until now, HANA is a columnar, HANA is an in-memory solution, it does parallel processing, it is an OLTAP system, online transaction and analytical processing. Fourth application is smart data access. It's a smart data access. So what is smart data access? Now how are we going to use smart data access to access data? Smart data access is nothing but to get data smartly from non-SAP systems. Primarily, smart data access is to access data from non-SAP system. Please see, even BODS can get data from non-SAP systems. SLT also can get data from non-SAP systems. But what is the difference between both of them? SLT get in real time, whereas BODS gets in batch process. Excuse me. But how is smart data access different from SLT and BODS? That is the next question. Three of them can get data from non-SAP. SLT in real time, BODS in batch schedule. And how smart data access is different? Now, smart data access is a very simple application, very lightweight application. You don't require any technical knowledge. With a very minimum basic technical knowledge, we can access data from non-SAP system. It means that it is just a connection. But BODS is a tool. We have an extra licensing cost involved to usage of BODS. For smart data access, it's integrated at the native HANA. It's the part of HANA. It's the core of SAP HANA. In the core of SAP HANA, you have smart data access. So using smart data access, you can connect to non-SAP system, but you can get data, you can transfer data virtually, not physical. So whatever the data that you have in non-SAP system, you can only access this data in runtime. It is just like a view. You're getting this data from non-SAP systems in runtime. So once you get the data from non-SAP system, you store it in HANA, but the data is stored in cache memory. So what is the difference between a cache memory and a physical memory? So when you put data in memory physically, data is halted there for any period of time. Data is kept in memory for any period of time. But in cache memory, when the data is not used frequently, data gets deleted. But still, we have a copy of data in non-SAP system. So simply to say, smart data access can get data on the fly, on demand. Only when user requests, only at that point of time, it gets data to HANA and keeps in cache memory. But SLT and BODS keeps data in memory physically. It is just a difference between a transform table, a table and a view. View access data only in runtime. That is what smart data access is. But table holds data physically. That's what SLT and BODS can do from non-SAP systems. So they can transfer data physically into HANA, whereas smart data access can get data virtually into HANA. and Smart Data Access is designed for non-SAP systems. Okay, so until now, what I was trying to explain is a sidecar scenario. In a sidecar scenario, you have your existing SAP, non-SAP systems as it is. We're not going to disrupt any of the solutions. We're going to implement another solution parallelly to the existing solution, which is HANA. In order to migrate data from existing SAP and non-SAP systems to HANA, we use different data provisioning applications. SLT for real-time transfer of data, BODS to transfer data in batch, rich in transformation. DXE is primarily used in a use case where you have BW. DXE bypass the existing BW solution, transfers data to HANA because HANA can handle both transaction and analytical processing applications. And Smart Data Access is to connect to non-SAP systems, transfers data virtually into HANA in runtime. And the last one is a simple one. Last one is very simple, which is flat files. So using flat files, so directly the flat files or the Excel files can be directly imported to CSV files, can be directly imported to HANA. Now, once we get all the data that is required by the business to the target system, what next? So let me just clean out this. So once you get the entire system to HANA, entire data to HANA, the next is we start doing data modeling. Now what is data modeling? So until now, we only see data provisioning. Data provisioning talks about how we can transfer data to HANA based on different business requirements. Now data modeling is something we have to give relationship between tables. Data models are nothing but defining a relationship between tables. So there are different types of data modeling. We create different types of data models like attribute views, analytic views, calculation views of type dimension. These are little technical, but later we can see in the coming classes in more detail. Calculation views of type dimension, calculation views of type cube, calculation views of type star joins, creating multi-dimensional models, exposing these data models into the front end called Fury or UI5 or analytics applications. So the new way of designing applications, the design is based on model to code. Model to code. What is model to code? Previously, when we design an application ABAP, it is code to model. Code means we write the code, system generates the model. Now it is exactly the opposite. We generate the model based on the best practices, system writes the code. So coding in HANA is very, very minimal. But coding in ABAP, in other applications, the old legacy application, you have to write code to generate the model. So automatically for every model we generate, so everything is navigation in HANA. It's just like configuration and navigation. Click here, click there. So we can generate different kinds of data models in HANA, nothing but defining relationship between tables. We can create new kind of applications and then expose these applications to the user. So finally, all these applications or the data models we are going to develop in HANA, we're going to expose to the front end. So user from here will access. He can write data back to HANA. He can read data from HANA. You can write data back and you can read data. So there are different ways you can access data, or you can write data back to HANA. You can use applications like Fury. You can use business objects, business intelligence. You can use non-SAP reporting tools, non-SAP tools like Tableau, TIBCO Spotfire. There are tools where users are very much used to Excel. So business users are very much used to Excel. For business users who love to work on Excel, they can go for Analysis for Office. Analysis for Office is an application that is very much suitable for business users who are working on Excel. Analysis for OLAP. This is a web-based application. Analysis for Office, Analysis for OLAP. You have Crystal Reports Enterprise for formatted reports, Explorer. You have Lumira, which is a cloud-based application. You have Web Intelligence for ad hoc queries. You have dashboards to see data in dashboard format. We have Design Studio. So like this, there are different set of UI tools. Based on the business requirement, we're going to select the right tool to present data to business. Also, most of these tools can be integrated with Fury or UI5. So, as a HANA consultant, mainly we focus on data modeling at the HANA. We're going to do data modeling inside HANA system. Data provisioning mainly talks about how we can transfer data to HANA. Data reporting talks about how we can present data to the end users. So this is a sidecar scenario. Now what is main car? So let us see what is main car scenario. So let us see what is main car. So what is the usage of sidecar without disrupting the existing solution? We have another solution in parallel. Now in a main car scenario, for example, you have ECC system. ECC system is on MS SQL. Now you want to implement ECC on HANA. You want to have ECC on HANA system. So for this, what we do is, in simple terms, we remove the existing DB and we replace with HANA. This is a main car scenario. So removing the existing database and replacing with HANA is done using DMO, which is known as data migration option. So who is going to do this? This is purely a basis job. Basis in HANA is known as HANA admin. So this is mostly suitable for administrators, system administrators, application administrators. So migration of data from an existing DB to HANA is done using DMO, and this is done by HANA administrator. So once he basically migrate, now the entire data is available in HANA. So now comes the ABAP HANA into play. ABAP HANA. How ABAP can complement HANA, how HANA can complement ABAP in terms of integration. How these data modelers, how the data modeling techniques can be optimized for both of them. So still we continue to use SLT, we continue to use BODS, because not only we have ECC, but we also have legacy applications. You have different third-party systems to integrate to HANA. You have third-party applications to get data from SLT. Still we have data provisioning in place. But ECC is on HANA. So all the ECC data is sitting on HANA, but still we have other non-SAP systems we can get data to HANA. And then from here, we have the other user interfaces, like as we just discussed, BOBI, and then Fury, and then third-party non-SAP applications we can directly access on native HANA. So what is the difference between a sidecar and a main car? Please see. In a sidecar scenario, ECC is here and HANA is here. And between we have data provisioning. But in the main car, ECC is sitting on HANA, but still we require integration with other applications to get data from other non-SAP systems and continue to use all the data reporting tools and the front-end tools, user interface tools. Now moving forward, what SAP has done is, now they started to call or started to use more simplified solutions, which is known as S4 HANA. It's a more simplified solution of ECC system. Now what is the difference between ECC and S4 HANA? So until now we discussed three scenarios. One is sidecar scenario, where you have existing application, parallelly you have new applications. And the second scenario we discuss is you're going to migrate the existing MS SQL with HANA using DMO, which is done by HANA admin. And third one is you have S4 HANA. So what is the difference between ECC on HANA and S4 on HANA? Okay, so traditionally ECC systems were designed to be optimized to be running on non-HANA systems. They're not actually, when they're made, when the ECC system was made, or when R3 system was made, there was no DB called HANA. So that time they kept in mind to design the solution based on row-oriented, disk-oriented, sequential processing. But the same solution, now we would like to move to HANA. But still, application is not optimized. ECC is not actually optimized to be running on HANA. So that is the reason what SAP has done is, they made ECC very much integrated, very much optimized, seamless integration with HANA. Not only this, they simplified the solution very much. And the second thing is, ECC is an on-premise solution, but S4 HANA is a cloud-based solution. It runs a software as a service. So what do we mean by on-premise and software as a service, which is known as SaaS? So the simple difference between, we maintain email in Outlook, Microsoft Outlook. We also can access emails in Gmail. Accessing emails in Gmail is cloud. Accessing emails in Outlook solution is on-premise. So when we say on-premise, it means that the application is installed on our laptop or on the computer. So if you go to add remove programs, so if you go to control panel, in control panel most of the time Whenever we want to remove a program, we select the program and remove the program. It means that application is actually sitting on our laptop, consuming our CPU power, it consumes our memory, it consumes our disk on the local computer. It consumes the performance on the local computer. But when you access Gmail data, that is all our emails data, is not stored in our local computer, but it is actually accessing from Gmail, Google servers. It consumes the CPU of Google. It consumes the memory of Google. So that is nothing but cloud. Means whatever the applications which we did not install in add remove programs, it is just opening by just typing a URL www.gmail.com. So these kind of applications which we did not install on our local machine, but still they continue to operate from cloud. So this kind of software is known as software as a service. We're consuming software in terms of just like renting a house, and if we don't want, we can switch to another house. So in the same way, we can subscribe a solution. We don't own the solution, but we can subscribe. So that is nothing but software as a service. So S4 HANA, the primary thing is S4 HANA is designed to be operated in cloud-based, whereas ECC traditionally was designed to operate on-premise. So in here, row, disk-based, sequential processing, on-premise software, but ECC has an option either to work on traditional RDBMS, like it can work on MS SQL, it can work on DB2, it can work on Sybase, but S4 HANA can only work on HANA. No other databases are supported for S4 HANA. So this is the way SAP is moving forward. So from traditional landscapes, SAP want to go for S4 HANA, where HANA is the only solution for every customer. 225,000 customers, SAP only wanted to have HANA as their primary solution to implement applications. So they started from 2015. So when they started in 2015, there were two primarily applications that were released into market. One is known as Simple Finance. Simple Finance, also known as S4 Finance. And the other one is Simple Logistics, which is also known as S Logistics or S4 Logistics. So what is the difference is, now instead of the traditional SAP GUI, we use Fury. Instead of traditional column-oriented disk sequential processing, now we process data columnar, in-memory, parallel processing, and these systems are mainly optimized for transaction processing. But these systems are optimized for transactions as well as analytical processing. You can do predictive analytics, text-based analytics. You can have deeper control on how we can access data using on-premise, using on-cloud. Systems are simplified, very easy to maintain, less footprint of data in memory. So what is less footprint of data in memory? For example, in here, let's say you have 5 TB of data. When it comes to S4, it's almost half the size, which is 2.5 terabyte of data. Now, what is the reason behind it is, SAP has removed most of the tables that are aggregated tables that store data redundantly, aggregated table, index tables. They maintain the data structures very, very simplified. And hence, less data footprint. Less data footprint, less hardware. Less hardware, the money that we invest in the hardware is less, and then higher return on investment. So as a HANA consultant or as a HANA S4 HANA consultant, we have to work on sidecar scenario, main car scenario, and even S4 HANA kind of applications, and even applications that are related to ABAP or business warehouse. Any kind of application, but our core, our strength is HANA. We primarily work on HANA systems. We primarily work on the core, that is HANA system. So that is where our focus is. And so after you complete this course, there is a certification in SAP which is known as C_HANA IMP 151, which is an application consultant. So most of the participants in the past have cleared the certifications, got more than 80%. And so the focus is on the HANA, the main HANA, and also integration with ABAP HANA, BW HANA, HANA with analytics, HANA with cloud, HANA administration related topics, HANA with S4 HANA integration. So for this, I'll just show you the course content, what I'm going to cover. I'll just show the course content. Just open the course content. I'm unable to download this. Okay, let me open this. Okay. So here, so in the course content, so this the version is based on SPS 12, which is the latest version. Only 20 days back, SAP released this latest version, which is SPS 12. So all our systems are based on SPS 12. So modeling. So first we are going to start in HANA modeling. So I actually highlighted very high level. So basically the course is the course is for 65 hours, and every day we'll have 1.5 hour session, and then we're going to give 6 months of server access for SPS 12 integrated with S4 HANA 1511 and all the integrated servers. So I'll just shortly explain about this. Shortly I will explain about the scenario, how we have our systems configured, and the materials will be provided, and all the contents in these materials will be discussed in our course. Like HA100 is Introduction to HANA, HA150, which is SQL Basics for SAP HANA, HA200 Installation of HANA, HA240 Security and Authorizations, 250 Migration, 300 Implementation and Modeling, Data Provisioning. This is mainly for modeling and data provisioning, hands-on lab. So these are mainly real-based scenarios. So real-time, real-world scenarios on hands-on lab. And then ABAP programming on HANA, application development, HANA Live, Business Suite powered by HANA, BW362, NetWeaver 7.4 on HANA, HANA Cloud Integration, SLT, SLT with HANA, and S4 HANA. So all this we are going to discuss as a part of the course, and live recordings will be provided. So every day I'm going to record the session. So any questions you may have, directly you may call me. So every day we have a scheduled call with the participants from 9:30 a.m. till 11 a.m. IST. So 11 a.m. IST every day for 1.5 hour calls. I'll take every day calls from the participants. So participants can call me during that time. We can have a individual discussion. If they want, they can want to discuss anything. Always they can call me. So this is my number. I'll just give. So this is my number 77999129. So anytime you want any technical support, you can write me an email to nagarjuna.k@gmail.com. So this is my email, nagarjuna.k@gmail.com, and this is my number. So I frequently get different requirements from different clients. I created a group for that. So in that group, I keep posting a lot of new jobs, so participants can access from that group. And so these are my demo sessions. So coming to the course, I'm going to cover all the topics in these different books, but I prepared a very high level overview content. Excuse me. So in here, what we're going to discuss here is in modeling in HANA, creating attribute views, analytic views. These are all topics related to modeling. Attribute views, analytic views, calculation views, best practices in creating information models. So probably I'm reading the course content, but at this point of time, it doesn't have more relevance. But over the time, when we see each and every, for example, we start with attribute views. In attribute views is mainly used for master data modeling. There are different types of attribute views, like you have standard attribute view, time-based attribute views, and this again you can derive an attribute view to a different attribute view, which are also known as alias of an attribute view. So like this, there are more detailed topics into it on each topic. So that we will see on individual sessions. I have not listed down here. So like this, you have analytic views, calculation views, best practices, performance, currency conversions, converting from one currency to a different currency based on exchange rate, variables in HANA, metadata, exporting of data models from development to quality. We can do integration testing and then move to production. So how we can transport using lifecycle management. There's a tool called lifecycle management. So using the tool, we can do transports in HANA based on CTS++, SQL script. So we have HA150 book, which is very detailed about SQL script. CE functions, calculation engine functions, writing of stored procedures, hierarchies, representation of data in hierarchical fashion, restricted measures, calculated measures, different joins in SAP HANA. What are the different types of joins? Referential join, text join, inner joins, right outer joins, auto documentation. In the data reporting or the presentation of data, we're going to discuss Web Intelligence and Design Studio. Lumira is a cloud-based UI, BO analysis for Office, OLAP, Explorer, Crystal Reports Enterprise, all this on the data reporting part. In the data provisioning, as we discuss, DXC, BODS, SLT, using flat files, importing all, how to configure each of them in very detailedly, how we can replicate data, and then administration in HANA, backup and recovery, installation of SAP HANA, how to install SUSE Linux. So HANA supports primarily on two operating systems. One is SUSE Linux and the other one is Red Hat Linux. So how we can install them and how we can install SAP HANA. So user management and security, how to create users, roles, how to assign privileges to users. SQL statements for user management. You can also control data using SQL statements. Analytic privileges. So all the users cannot see all the data. We have to restrict based on their role. We have to restrict data based on their role. How we can restrict. And then COPA accelerator. Nothing but we're going to see two end-to-end projects. One is based on finance and the other one based on sales and distribution. How we can design controlling profitability analysis right from project preparation, blueprint, realization, build phase, testing, how to transport, and then pre-production, post-production. So everything I will detailedly discuss, and I will give all the project-related documents, technical specifications, functional specification, design documents, high-level design documents, low-level design documents. So all this I'm going to share with you from my project experience. I've done more than 5 implementation projects in HANA. So I'll share all those templates and best practices. And BW powered by HANA, how BW can be integrated to SAP HANA. So once you have BW to be transferred to HANA, you have different ways to consume data, like transient providers, composite providers, virtual providers, OpenODS views, advanced DSOs, LSA++ architecture. So like this, there are different topics to deal with BW and HANA. And then S4 HANA. So what is S4 HANA product? How the new solution is different from ECC, how the data structures are different, introduction to simple finance, introduction to simple logistics, introduction to Fury. So all this will be discussed in the part of S4 HANA. So now coming to the landscape. So what is the systems that we are going to access during the training? I'll just give me just 10 minutes. I'll just complete this out. I'll just complete this. So during our training, so we have an integrated server. So integrated server in sense, so we have ECC 6.0 EHP7, ECC 6.0 EHP7, and then we have MS SQL for non-SAP data access. So when you want to access or migrate data from non-SAP, we have non-SAP systems, which is MS SQL. And here on the target we have HANA. HANA is based on SPS 12, which is the latest service pack. And then on top of HANA, we have S4 HANA. S4 HANA is the revision 1511 edition. 1511 is the latest on-premise edition, which consists of simple finance and simple logistics. And then you have BW powered by HANA, which is BW NetWeaver 7.5. SAP NetWeaver 7.5. We have both 7.5 and 7.4 also. 7.5 being the latest one. And then coming to the data provisioning, and the data provisioning SLT 2.0, SLT 2.0, BODS 4.2. Just I'm writing down the versions. And then we have DXE. DXE is a connection. There's no version for it. And then you have Smart Data Access. Again, this is a connection. And then front end, Fury, Business Objects, Business Intelligence Tools, 4.1. And non-SAP systems like Tableau, non-SAP like Tableau, integration with HANA. So all these are in the UI part. All this is in the user interface. All this is UI, nothing but the presentation of data. Now this can be integrated with S4, with BW, and even with native HANA. So here you have integration with SAP system, non-SAP systems, to application layer and to database layer. So all this is an integrated system. Shortly I will show you, I'll show you. So how do we access this system? So this system will be available for 6 months. So in here you'll have all these applications running, and you can access using a remote desktop. So 24/7 you can access the system for 6 months. And so in order to access this system, we have an IP address. So we have to go to MSTSC. So if it is a Windows based laptop, we have to go for MSTSC, or if it is a SUSE, or it is a Linux, or if it is Mac, in Mac you have an app for remote desktop. We have to install that app from Apple Store. So once you install, you can use the remote desktop application. Click on the remote desktop application, and this is our IP address, 122.175.47.80.3317 is the IP address. So we have to give in this IP address. So once you give in this IP address, so every participant will have their unique user ID and password. So using your user ID and password, once you enter, you can access the system. So once you log in, click connect. So it's going to ask the user ID and password. User ID is HANA user 1. And click OK. So once you click OK, now you're going to log into the remote desktop connection. So once you log into the remote desktop, now in order to access the source system, click on Start. Anyways, again I'll show you tomorrow in detail. Please also attend tomorrow's session. So tomorrow's session again at the same time at 6 a.m. So tomorrow again I'm going to show detailedly and give a brief introduction to the entire systems we have. Today I'll just show you very briefly. So click on Start All Programs. Click on SAP Frontend. Click on SAP Logon. So this is the UI to access SAP systems. So here you have EHP7. Double click. ECC 6.0 EHP7. Give the user ID and password. So one more thing, once we enter into the remote desktop, so once we are inside the remote desktop, everyone will have the same user IDs and passwords. All of us will share the same user IDs and passwords. So why I've done is this, because we all have the same authorization. So even everyone will have administrative rights to perform whatever they want in the system. So username is best and password is W capital welcome 123. Click enter. Password is best. The username is best. Password is welcome 123. W is the capital letter. Click enter. S11 transaction code to view tables. VBAK, click display, or KNU1, click display. So this is the ECC system, which is a source system. So this system, so why am I going to use this system is mainly because these systems are IDS systems. IDS systems are educational systems where you have a lot of data or the demo data that we can use for our exercises. So this is an IDS system. So SAP has hello? I think so is this okay? Everyone able to hear me? I think a little disconnected now. If it is not okay, please let me know. I will just switch the connection. I have two internet connections. If this is not working out, I'll just switch back to the other connection. Okay, so let's continue. So now we were discussing about the ECC system. So why we are using these systems is because the volume of data we have in the systems. So we have more than 19,577 records for customer. So like this, there are lots and lots of data that we can play with when we are doing our exercises. So that is the reason I choose ECC to go for IDS. And the second thing is now on the target. The target is HANA system. So let's click Start, click All Program, and then click SAP HANA and click on HANA Studio. Click on HANA Studio. So HANA Studio is the UI or the user interface to access HANA system. HANA Studio is the UI to access HANA system. So this is the HANA UI. To log into HANA system, so here we have something called system. Right click on the system, click log on. Username is best, and the password to access the system is W capital welcome 123. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So username is best and password is W capital welcome 123 and click OK. So now we log into HANA system. So here we have two important folders. One is the catalog and the other one is the content. Now let us expand catalog. Expand the catalog. So here you find different schemas. These are known as schema. Select one of the schema called best. Click to expand. So here you have tables. Expand tables. So this is one table called BKPF. So I just filter on this table. We have a filter. I'll right click on this. I'll remove the filter so that we can see all the tables. So let's go to one of the table called KNU1. So this table is a customer master table. I'll right click on the table and click open definition. Once you open the definition, here we can see the table KNU1 table. This is a column store. Please see. So there are tables which can store data in row stores. Please see. This is the symbol for row store. For example, if I double click on this, this is a row store table and this is a column store table. Business tables in SAP, all the business related tables in SAP are stored as column stores. And system related tables, to store system logs, system information, system performance information. Everything is stored in row stores. Now these table, when I click on runtime information, when we click on runtime information, the primary way to store data for these tables is in memory. Please see. There are more than 19,577 records. Now, please see, it is now, this is the ECC system. In ECC system, if I go to S11, click KNA1. So this is how we access on the ECC system. Click KNA1 and click contents. So 19,577 records on the ECC. Click execute. So this is the data that we have on the ECC system. Now I'm switching back to HANA now. This is HANA Studio. So ECC table is row. Here we have column. There it is ABAP. Here we process in sequential processing. No, sorry. Here we do it in parallel processing using SQL script. So in order to access table, right click, open data preview. So from where are we accessing data? When we data preview here, we are accessing data from memory. Click open data preview. So it has taken 119 milliseconds, approximately 119 milliseconds to access customer name. So this is how data is stored in the tables. So like this, all the column tables are nothing but the business tables. So where is schema? Schema is under catalog. What is a catalog? A catalog is a collection of schemas. Under each schema, you have these tables. Now let us see content. What is content? Expand. So let's go to one of the package, ECC. So let's go to one batch. Okay, let's expand this. So May 21st. So here you can see data models. So all these are data models that we create in native HANA. So company code. So all the calculation views. All these are different kinds of data models. All these are modelings that we create in SAP HANA. So once you create all these data models in HANA, so once you provision, so provisioning is done via data provisioning method. So tomorrow we see more detail into this, but just I'll quickly show you. So in show view, quick view, in quick view, so here you see there is something called data provisioning. Click on data provisioning, select the instance, click finish. So here you can see how the tables are being replicated. So all these are replicating data from source system. So this is SLT, system landscape transformation. So all these are tables that we're replicating to HANA. Now we also have another data provisioning method like BODS. Click start, all program, click data services 4.2, and then here you have workbench. So workbench is in other UI. So this is also part of the data provisioning, like SLT for real time, BODS for batch. You can transform data. So to access BODS, username is best and the password is wcapwelcome123 and click log on. So like this, all the systems we have in the landscape, S4HANA, BODS, SLT, Smart Data Access, DXC, ECC, MS SQL. So in BODS we can create different kinds of flows. You can create these kind of flows where these are ETL flows. You can transform data, you can cleanse, basic cleanse. You can do cleansing of data. You can remove all the special characteristics. You see all the special characteristics you can remove. You can process data. You can do bulk load. You see ECC systems. This is the ECC data store. Click tables. So all these are different standard tables. We are doing migration. We are migrating all these tables from ECC to HANA, the target. So like this, we can create different flows in BODS. Now coming to the presentation of data. So coming to the presentation, how we can present. So in the presentation of data, we have different tools on how we can present. Like we have business objects analysis. We can present in Excel. We can present in dashboards, Design Studio, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Lumira, Analysis for Office, Analysis for OLAP, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Fury. So you can access Fury or Simple Finance. So to access Simple Finance, okay. So basically, you see, until now we're talking about this IP address. We're seeing ECC, data provisioning methods to access HANA. Now we have another system called S4 HANA. So to access S4 HANA, we have another IP address. So we have two IP address, one for a sidecar scenario. I dedicated two systems, one for sidecar and the other one for main car. So in order to access main car, the IP address is, so we have two dedicated systems. So here we have to type in, this is the IP address 122.175.47.140. Click connect. I'll just enter this IP address. So this is for main car. So this is the sidecar implementation and this is the main car implementation, which is S4 HANA. So for both the systems you'll get access. So both the systems will have access to 6 months. So click connect, username and password. Click OK. Click yes. We're connecting to the main car scenario. So here, click start. Click SAP logon. So this is the S4 HANA 1511 edition. So S4 HANA 1511. So this S4 HANA 1511 is sitting on HANA DB. So here we have SAP HANA again. Click OK. So in order to access HANA and in order to access this HANA system and Simple Finance, we have another application. So these are the user IDs and passwords. This is the license. So in order to access this system, so these are the different user IDs and passwords. So we have implementation with SAP Network Gateway. And then we can double click on shortcuts. So here we have Fury logon. just get the password. Just give 1 second. I'll just I'm just trying to access the password. So this is the home page to access Fury system. It's loading the home page. So meanwhile, we log into the S4 HANA. So here if you see, if you go to SE11, click enter. Let's take KNA1 table here. Give the KNA1 table, click display, click technical settings, click database specific properties. So all the tables are column stores. So column stores are sitting on the HANA DB. And in order to access this HANA DB, we have different front-end UI tools, like you have operational processing tools. These are called as tiles. You have master data, create asset management, and general reporting, analytics, configuration. You have configuration, you can do HCM administration, account payables and receivables management. So all this sales and distribution, document management. So all these tiles related to sales, purchasing, liquidity management, controlling configuration. So all these are different tiles in S4 HANA. So we implemented most of the tiles which are frequently used for S4 HANA, which is in Fury. So these are the systems that we are going to provide access to for the next 6 months. Okay, so coming to the end of the session. So every day the session will be for 1.5 hours. It starts from 6 to 7:30 a.m. IST. Sorry for delay today, but it was a little long. But just wanted to show what I can share for the next 65 hours. So every day we have for 1.5 hours. See, the course will be for almost 2 months. Every day 1.5 hours and 5 days a week session. So I'll make sure that from my side, I'll make sure that whatever the concept I teach, participants understand that concept, and then giving very relevant examples in different use cases. Practical experience is most important. So I'll try to correlate every example with the practical experience based on scenarios. So wherever it is relevant, I'll give assignments. You can complete weekly and give back those assignments to me. I will review. If students have any doubts, they want to have a discussion with me, you can discuss every day 9:30 a.m. till 11 a.m. IST. And then So all the materials I keep updating. Whenever the new materials are released, I update in the Dropbox. So I also want to show you this. So how do we share these materials? So these materials we share with something called Dropbox. Let me show you. We have an application called Dropbox. So uh, for example, here we have a folder. We basically share like this with the participants. So we have online classes. So these are my trainings. So here we have, for example, let me take one batch. Let me take a weekend batch. So we have weekend batch and daily batches. So here we basically keep all the materials, HANA materials, all HA 100, 300, 900, 350, SQL 150, HA 200, 400, and common materials for every batch. So 150, 360, 200, S4H01, 240. So all these materials I kept here. And certification dumps. So latest certification is 151. I'm going to provide the dump. You can also have professional exam or associate exam. And then technical documents. Technical documents in the sense project related documents that you can access. I kept a separate folder for that. Project docs. In this you can access the library. So where you'll have all the configurations. So all the configurations for various applications, process diagrams, technical specifications. So here we can click on start. There is an application that's open up. Here you have all the building blocks for HANA, ERP, finance, sales and distribution reports, material management, utilities, CRM, plant maintenance, GTS, GRC, supply chain, SAP working capital management. So all these are different applications we have. Fury setup for smart business cockpits. So you can access this application when you're actually doing project work. I'll give sample projects to you. You can develop the sample projects and give back to me. So like this, we basically share via Dropbox all these materials and videos. So you can actually play these videos. All these videos you can play as per your mobile. You can play in tab. So these are the things that I'm going to provide from my side. Now, participants may have any questions. Please type in your questions in the chat box. I will read out your question and answer your questions. The participants may have any questions. Please type in your questions. I'll read out and answer your questions. Thank you very much, everyone, to spend your time. It was a little longer, but apologies for that. Participants may have any questions. Please type. So first, I'll read out all the questions and answer your questions. Then we can have a discussion regarding the question and answers. So from tomorrow, the session is from morning 6 to 7:30. So tomorrow also is a demo session, and the regular sessions will start from Monday. From Monday, we'll start the introduction to HANA and HANA Studio. I'll start the modeling topics on Monday session. So 6 to 7:30 is the everyday timing for the session. So tomorrow also it is a introduction session. So how to access the landscape. Tomorrow I'm going to take that session. How to access the landscape. And A brief introduction to HANA Studio is tomorrow topics. A brief introduction to HANA Studio, introduction to the landscape, continued. So any questions or any feedbacks participants want to share, everyone is welcome to address this email. You can write back your queries, your feedbacks, or anything related to administrative related questions. Please leave your comments nagarjuna.k@gmail.com. So myself, my full name is Nagarjuna Kamireddy. My full name is Nagarjuna Kamireddy is my name. And most of the time you may speak with Bharat. So because Bharat is overlooking all the activities related to admin, like fee structure, and then materials distribution, system access distribution. For every participant, he is the single point of contact for all your queries regarding the administration. But anything related to HANA, I am the direct person to contact. So you can always conference call. To conference, the number is 77-077-999-11129. So this is the number. If you're calling from outside India, +91 77-999-11129. This is my email and this is my phone number. Now also participants can connect me through LinkedIn. So participants may have LinkedIn. You can connect through LinkedIn. Even my LinkedIn ID is same as my email ID. You can also view my YouTube. YouTube also I use the same email ID, nagarjuna.k@gmail.com. Even LinkedIn also I use the same email ID. So the course duration is 65 hours. Every day we have 1.5 hour session. So just I will read out the questions one by one. We have few questions here. I'll just read out one by one and give answer to them. So participants can keep on typing your questions, whatever questions you may have. Please type in your questions. Meanwhile, I'll just read out the other participants' questions. So the first question is content mapped with certification? Yes, content is mapped with the certification. So one thing I can guarantee you from my side is 100% I will make sure that every participant attend this course will clear the certification. That is my responsibility. I'm also telling if any participant is not clearing, I'll give refund to them. I'll completely process the entire refund. So certification is my part. 100% I will take care. I'll make sure that every participant clear the certification. So all that we have to do is just focus on the classes. I actually made the course very simplified to understand for every participant. I'll also give the assignments. You work on the assignments, and I'll also discuss real business use cases. So based on that, 100% you can clear the certification. That I will make sure. At the end of the session, now certification is something, please write it immediately after the course. One thing I also want to share, from my last batch, most of the people write the certification already, but somehow they did not find slots. Some participants waited until last, though they wanted to write certification. There are no slots. So again, they had to wait for another one and a half month to 2 months to get the slot. So participants who want to write the certification, after registering the course, book for the exam date. I can also give dates when the course will be over and when you can write the certification. I'll give 1 week, so I'll give just a 1 week date. Immediately you can write. Immediately you can write, because sometimes what happens is, due to our busy schedule, our course is completed, but again 2 months to write certification. All the knowledge is whatever we learn during these months. It is little what we say. Uh, every day we lose some percentage of our knowledge if we continuously don't work on that, because all of us have some main jobs and then we are currently learning this course to enhance our career. So what will happen is this will become our secondary learning. So immediately if you can write the certification adds a lot of value, especially for SAP HANA. This is because the course is new, and then the only way to validate a consultant knowledge is only through certification. Especially in North America, Europe, and in other countries, they have a lot of value for certification. But if you ask me in India, in India, certification has less relevance. Only they mostly focus on the practical experience, especially in India. Because certification, I see certificate itself has less value in India. Mostly focus on the knowledge or the practical experience that we gain from the projects. Okay, coming to the certification, what is the primary focus? To clear the certification, you actually have 4 important books from SAP Education. One book is HA 100. Now this book is specifically for Introduction to SAP HANA. Second one, HA 300, Implementation and Modeling. Next, HA 150, SQL Scripting with SAP HANA. Next, HA 900, Business Suite powered by HANA. Also, in order to go more details about the data, please see, data provisioning is also there in this book, but to have more detailed understanding of data provisioning, you have another book called HA 350, which is completely for data provisioning. This book is completely for data provisioning. So these books are important in terms of a certification, which is an associate level certification. So once you clear the associate level certification, then you can also write a professional certification. So there is also a professional certification for SAP HANA. You can also, but as for writing a professional certification, you need to have at least 2 projects experience. So SAP will evaluate. So after some time, once you have the practical experience, more hands-on and having more detailedly, then you can write for a professional certification. Even I will give guidance for the professional certification. So these are the important books. And later, if you want to go for S4 HANA, more learning into S4 HANA, then we have another book called only specifically for S4 HANA, S4H01. S4H01. And if you're looking for ABAP related HANA, HA400. So after completing all of them, so these are very important books for everyone. After completing this, you can go for HA400, or and then you can go for BW362, BW362. All these books are important for their enhancing of their specific domain, specific application knowledge. HA400 for ABAP, BW362 for BW, S4 HANA for functional guys. Later you can pursue these books as further integration to your application knowledge. But these are mainly focused for the certification. So let us see the next question. So what certification is generally required as a part of certification? The code for certification is C underscore HANA IMP 151. This is the code for the certification. So this is the latest one, which is based on the latest release. It's based on the latest release certification. So let's go to the next question. So next question, what's the role of ABAP? What's ABAP role here? Or how ABAPer get benefit? This is because I heard ABAP on HANA. The question is, what's ABAPer role? How ABAPer get benefit? And I heard ABAP HANA. Okay. So now even I am also an ABAPer initially when I started my career. So ABAP is something most of the time we work on the ABAP application layer. But coming to HANA, when you have HANA, most of the things that is optimized for HANA means we create data model. Most of the time we don't perform most of the activities in the application layer. Everything we do it in the database layer. For example, we create all the data models. Any manipulation of data, we can write stored procedures. We can even created views in HANA can be consumed in ABAP. You can use CDS view. You can consume in ABAP. Stored procedures we create in HANA can be called in ABAP. So the entire application logic that was there in ABAP is now pushed down to SAP HANA DB. It means that you have a new ways of presenting data using new tools. So previously we had SAP GUI. Now we have different ways to present data in cloud and on-premise. Like you have analysis for Office, OLAP, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Lumira, Fury, and then the backend for this front end is the HANA system. So you can write and read data from HANA. You can access data from SAP NetWeaver Gateway, and you can write back data, you can read data in visually stunning reports. So whatever we are doing in ABAP can also do in native HANA. Same things can also be done in native HANA. So when is the batch starting? So the batch will start from Monday. The session will start, the first session will start. What is the certification cost in SAP HANA? The cost is it's approximately range from, based on the exchange rate, it range from 30 to 35,000 INR. Depends on country to country, different on their local taxes, and then exchange rate. 30 to 35,000 between it can cost. So do you also have weekend sessions? Yes, we also have weekend sessions, but at the later point of time. So usually what I do is I conduct sessions, morning session, there is an evening session, early morning, late night at 9 to 10:30, and weekend session I conduct on weekends, that is on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday I take a 3-hour session, 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. IST on both Saturday and Sunday, and 9 to 10:30 p.m. IST, and 6 to 7:30 a.m. IST. So these are the 3 batches I actually take. One is on morning session, late night, and on weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that is on the morning. 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. IST. Next question, what type of background will be required for this training? To tell you very frankly, I'm going to teach every session right from very basics. I'll start from basics and slowly I will take you to the real world example. So if you ask me what basics you require, then probably I would suggest a little knowledge about what is a table, what is a column, what is a row, what is a query, what is a select statement. I mean, very simple terms, simple basic fundamentals of computers is required. Otherwise, other knowledge is not required. I'm going to teach everything in right from the fundamentals in the course. So next question. So regarding the fee structure, everything, please communicate with Bharat. So Bharat is the right person to communicate. So next question, with all this data transferring from ECC to HANA, does it means that ECC processing, does this affect the ECC processing functionality? So now in S4 HANA, all the configuration, now you can import from S4 HANA, the configurations can be imported in cloud. Also, it can be natively available. So just to give you more detail about this, when you work on ABAP application layer, we have an application server called ABAP. Inside HANA, even inside HANA, we have an application layer. Usually, databases don't have application layer, but in HANA we have an application layer. Now this application layer is known as Access Engine. Now what is the use of Access Engine? It is just similar to ABAP. But HANA is an in-memory DB and an application platform. An application platform by itself. It means that you don't require an ABAP application layer to develop a new application. For example, I have a very unique business. I want to develop an application for my business. So without even writing a single line of ABAP code, we can develop a new application without even having the ABAP application layer. So that is the beauty of HANA. So it is an in-memory, it's a column-oriented, it does parallel processing, it has very powerful engines like OLTP, OLAP. It works on-premise, it works on cloud. It has a new way of integration with different UIs. It can do semi-structured data analysis. It can do predictive analytics. It can be integrated with Internet of Things. Like it can integrate with different sensors to get data from different sources. You can stream data through sensors. And then the most importantly, it has an application server in itself, which is known as Access Engine. So you can develop your own applications inside native HANA. So you can use a JavaScript to publish data models to the front end. So everything that can be done in HANA, everything can be done inside HANA. So we'll see the next question. The next question is, do SAP has any tools for migration and upgrade to ECC 6.0 to SAP S4 HANA? Yes. So you can use DMO, as we discussed. We can also use DMO option, data migration option, or just to migrate data from one system to a different system, you can use SLT, SAP Landscape Transformation. So even SLT can replicate data. SLT can replicate data from ABAP to ABAP. For example, ECC to S4 HANA. The source system is ECC 6.0 and target is S4 HANA. You can replicate data ABAP to ABAP. So next question, when can we get access to the live server? So we are actually working on the live server now. For access to the live server, please contact Bharat. Bharat is the right person. I've given the email address and phone number here. I think somewhere here I've given. I think I deleted this. So email is nagarjuna.k@gmail.com. Phone number is 7799111290. So, do you help in resume preparation? 100%. I should help. There is no doubt about it. Resume preparation and interview questions. I have collected more than 500 interview questions for participants. Just to go through, it's very easy actually. You can just run through. After the courses come, you can just run through all the questions. It will be very easy to understand, and you'll be very confident to answer the questions. Okay, so next question. What is the difference between C underscore HANA Tech 11 and C underscore HANA IMP 151? Okay, so basically there are two certifications. One is technical, means that is for basis. Participants who are from basis background, they have, basis means installation of HANA, maintenance, security, authorization, database migration, lifecycle management, patching, upgrade, backups, disaster recovery, high availability, process optimization. All this comes under basis knowledge. That is especially for database administrators. But we mainly focus on the application. Our focus is only on application. And I'll also teach the integration, for example. Now, especially when working on HANA, we have different roles. One is an associate role. The other one is a little senior consultant role. The other role is a solution architect role. Now, when you're working as an associate consultant or a senior consultant, or especially associate consultant or a consultant, we don't require that much integration knowledge. Our mainly focus will be on the development of the application, and creation of attribute views, replication of data, how we can present in front end. But once you little go to the senior position, then you require mostly integration knowledge and less on the application knowledge. So integration knowledge in the sense installation, sizing, upgrade, patching, backup and recovery. So that is why even in this course I'm covering those topics, especially consultants who want to become or who want to aspire for solution architects or senior consultants. That's why I included some of the topics even for the administration part. So again, what is the prerequisite to HANA for an ABAPer? Actually, for ABAPers, this is a very good course, especially for ABAP. ABAP involves a lot of coding. This course does not involve, only 5% of the coding you can see. But why? Because participants are already from SAP. They understand table structures. They understand the business knowledge. So until now, whatever we learn in our career will not go anywhere. But it is actually moving forward with HANA. Everything we learn in our during our experience will still be there, but we add one more component now, that is HANA. Continue with the old functionality and technical. So especially the roles of HANA are not technical roles, they are techno-functional. So there is a balance between, because we are the people who takes the requirement from business. We are the people who develop the documentation, functional specs, technical specs, design documents, everything. This is the part of our delivery. So when this is part of our delivery, obviously without business knowledge, it is very difficult to work. So that's why HANA roles are not purely technical roles like above. There is a techno-functional role. You have both this functionality as well as the technical role. So next question, how to access the Dropbox? So Dropbox access will be given by Bharat. Please contact Bharat. He's the right person. He's the right person to share details about Dropbox and system materials, system access, and course delivery, schedule. All this will be taken care by Bharat. So next question, since I'm connecting from US, can I expect a better connectivity to Surya HANA Academy systems? Yes, you can have faster access to our systems. So we have a dedicated leased line to connect to our system, which is a 30 Mbps line. So we have a dedicated line. So never you will experience a drop on the connections. So if I miss a class, then how would I get the backup class? So every class is recorded, so you can have access to the recorded sessions. Or you can attend the, or you can, if you are missing too many classes, you can attend the next batch. The next batch, always we have a schedule, morning, evening, or weekend. So there is no restriction on what time you can attend. So you can ask the course content where it is, and then you can continue the class in that particular batch. So next class is tomorrow session, and tomorrow also we have the session. Tomorrow also we have the session. So especially next question is, I'm an SAP project manager. Can myself change from solution architect to S4 HANA? Yes, you can change. so especially for project managers who are attending this course. I'll tell you one more course after this. So once you complete this course, there is a course called SAP Activate. So like how we have ASAP methodology, accelerated SAP. Now the same ASAP methodology in S4, now they call it as SAP Activate. Especially project managers, program managers, after this course they have to basically go for SAP Activate. So that is the course that will be helpful for them in terms of project management and program management.